Sorry, isn't it part of a larger picture? I mean, a lot of this is the detail, but the larger picture is the cancel culture that we call it now. That's been going on for years and breaking down the family and encouraging people to get divorced.
Well, yeah, the larger culture is a guy named Beelzebub, or Satan, or the devil, or the enemy, who has come and normalized sin. And this is a little off topic, but I'm going to use it as an example, and you'll get an idea of how old I am, because I know I look 24. Please don't laugh. So when I was a kid, you could not say damn on TV. You would get canceled. NBC would come and yank your whatever and turn your plugs off, and people would get in trouble. Now, at 7 o'clock in the evening, on major channels, you can show naked butts, penises, vaginas. They can use compound words that I learned in the Navy, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Sin has been normalized at an accelerated rate. Don't be a prude. I'm not a prude, trust me. If I gave you my life history, y'all all be like, oh my God, I can't believe I sat in a room with that man. So, because I wasn't always a Christian. And I've done a lot, and I'm a product of this system. My mom, when I was 2, went to the court and said, he's abusive, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And this was in the 70s for internet, and she would just move around so my dad couldn't find me. So I didn't see my actual father for probably 15 or 16 years until I was a young adult. But I wasn't really a young adult, because we know that children who go through this, it stunts their emotional age by about half their biological age. So if you know a kid who goes through this and they're 16, but they don't act like a 16-year-old, they break down, they cry, and they have nervous anxiety tics, and they're always doing this thing, and they're socially awkward, and the other kids don't like them, they don't really have a lot of friends, it's because they're about an 8-year-old. And it's hard to have an 8-year-old be friends with 16-year-olds. And you're like, but he's normal, he's really smart and all that, but emotionally he's wrecked because he didn't get that pouring into that we were designed to by God. Because if you don't get that pouring into from a parent, you literally have brain damage. And so I went through all this. So I know what it's like, and it's only by the grace of God that I'm not in prison for the rest of my life or dead right now. I am an anomaly. I am like the 0.1% who doesn't end up in those places, because Lord knows I should have. And we have this thing that it's okay to talk to kids about sex. You know, if I did what they were doing in schools on the street corner with a 4-year-old, I'd be arrested and registered as a sex offender.
Yep.
But the enemy has normalized it through our state. I call it state-sanctioned child abuse. They do it in our schools. They do it in our courts. They do it with CPS. So if any kind of state actor, and oh wait, they all have immunity. So if any kind of state actor chooses to do whatever the hell they want to your child, you know what you can do about it? Nothing. You can make complaints, and if you're really good at it, you might get them fired. And if you're excellent and have $10, $15, $20,000, you might get someone to file a federal suit on your behalf. But if they drag it out, you're not going to be able to go to court because you won't be able to afford it. Yes, ma'am.
I know you're extremely informed, but I have to disagree with you about one thing.
No, that's okay.
And that is the father that is sneaking around with whoever. You know, it's the mother who's staying home and being faithful to the children and keeping them most of the time.
Can I stop real quick? But what about the mother who's a whore and is running around?
Well, either one.
Okay, so either parent. All right, I just wanted to make sure that we're being
But I think
that's all ladies get upset.
that it is important for the children to see godly Christian parents rather than a whoring mother or father.
Oh no, I absolutely
as an
agree.
Example.
But unfortunately, we can't legislate someone into Christ, because if we could, we'd all be going to heaven. And then, and quite honestly, from what Christ said, some of us in this room, it could be me. I show up and he says, "I don't know who you are. Be gone." You know, that's what I'm saying. In the end, whether that person is a scumbag spouse, they can still be a great father. Maybe not a godly Christian father or a godly Christian mother, but they can still pour into that child in the way that the child needs, that if you take it away, you're going to further damage the child. So what you're doing is you're taking your morality and ethics, which I believe are objective because they're given by God, and trying to overlay it onto what the child needs, when in fact the child still needs that relationship. You know, and then we can go into the whole 6 degrees of separation, Kevin Bacon and all that kind of stuff, because it could potentially be that relationship with that child and seeing that mother is what brings that man to God. Who knows? But I do know for a fact that when you sever that relationship with the child, we know for a fact it causes brain damage, that it damages them for life. You know, even crummy, philandering, can't keep a job, can't keep a home, the child still needs a relationship with that person. You just don't send them to under the bridge over here off of Mopac to visit them. You say, hey, scumbag dad, your visits are, this, come on over, we're having a barbecue. And this is when you get your support system. Say, hey, everybody keep an eye on scumbag dad. And you have them come over because that child doesn't understand all that other stuff. All they know is dad's here, and dad's playing with me, and dad's doing, I call it beard belly, when you don't shave for a day and you rub your beard on the child's belly and they scream and pee their pants. I peed my pants, I know, sorry about that. They need that. And so we don't deprive them with that because I don't approve, because if we did that, well, we should just go ahead with, if you don't believe in Christ, you don't have access to a child. Well, crap, I think about, I don't know, honestly, maybe 20% of this population would have access to their kids because the vast majority of people who call themselves Christian, I don't believe are. We got a legislature full of them.